Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ha, Rekakodash, Mama. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my apostle and elder as well, Aharawan Banyasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Atwafium, and Banyam children that believe in truth and sincerity. It's your brother, I thank y'all back to another lesson. And your hearts is edifying. And it's just like a spiritual hydration. Only got 2 scriptures pertaining to this nonsense. All right, while this country's at war, while this place is on the brink of destruction, famine, pestilence, just all type of utter chaos coming and approaching this place. You have Nero, all right, 45 and 47. You know, it's just folly. And as you read the title, it says, Nero, 45-47, says he may keep UFC arena on White House lawn permanently. They're supposed to be having some Colosseum, all right, event. And we know the Colosseum was made in the Roman Empire, all right, in the times of Paul, you know, for the gladiator games, right? You know, where it was distracting the people, all right, with the bread and circus, you know, of what's going on outside of the arena, the amphitheater. It says here, Nero 45-47 said the Ultimate Fighting Championship arena recently installed on the White House South Lawn could remain a permanent fixture after the night of June 14th fight is over. And as you can see, it's just a lot of BS, you know what I'm saying? Like just monuments, idols, right? Things that are erect up in the air, which that's not supposed to be. You know, in Washington, D.C., in East Washington, D.C., he has these different monuments, like the thing that represents the tie that was gifted from Egypt. You know, all these little gang signs that's showing up. That you know, it's like a gang sign from the Shemaims. All right, these little, you know, signs and stuff pointing up at the sky, all right, the heavens, the Lord see that. It says Trump in June 2nd video posted on TikTok compared the soaring UFC arena known as the Claw to France's Eiffel Tower, which he said was supposed to be taken down after the 1889 World's Fair. See, so it's always symbology behind these things with Esau, because he's the Chaldeans. These are the you know, the Chaldeans, man, the sorcerers, the warlocks. They deal in dark magic on the left-hand side in wickedness, all right? Well, they never took it down. And you know, we're building something in front of the White House that's quite attractive to a lot of people, Trump said on the video. It's going to have the big UFC fight on June 14th. And I'm looking at it, and maybe we'll never, ever take it down. Right. You might have the gladiator games. You might bring the Trump, who 45-47, who ended his remarks with a quick smile, was perhaps just jabbing his critics with a suggestion sure to prompt questions. Then again, Trump, Salakia, has never shined up away from breaking the norms. Hence, holding the UFC event in the first place. Right. You probably getting money out of that. You know, it's just, it's all folly. I don't even got to continue more. It's like what's going on in the state of the earth and the world. That's the least should be of a dictator, a person that's ahead of something of important of the people. That's the least of his worries. All right. It shows you that this devil has to be removed. All right. He takes your life for granted. You see how he's dealing with the oligarchs, the different kings upon the earth. This is why these people are not set and fit to rule. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10. And I'll jump to a point in verse 5. There is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceedeth from the ruler. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place, right? The rich sit in a low place, but folly is held to high regard. BS, bullshit, right? Why you got the internet and social media out in this devil society? because he uplift the wicked. All right. He abhorred the righteous. All right. The meek, the lowly. But they're rich, through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, through the spirit of truth. All right. When the tables turn, they're going to be the standard. They're rich in spirit and financially in the finances to come. All right. Because they have worked towards that spiritual bank account, like in the lesson prior, This is Psalms 127 and verse 1. A song of degrees for Solomon, right? Prosperity comes from the Lord, right? Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain, right? It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep, right? Rest. He give his beloved rest. All right, point really in verse 1. Except for the Lord build that house, the labor in vain that build it. So it's the work of men's hands. It's an idol, ultimately. There's nothing spiritual about it, just like these churches on every corner. All right, as the Lord say, he's not in temple made with hands. All right, so it's just a vain thing. You catch the Lord's truth, his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on the highways and byways, and right now via the unicorn on the World Wide Web, as you got men that's teaching man so. All right, you got the real go recognize the real. They're not gonna care about the views, how much money, what a specific person got on, how they look. It's go what come and leave their temple, what come out of them. All right, which shows who they are. All right, try the spirit by the spirit. All right, see if they're spiritual wealthy or not. So people don't know real money if they seen it or if they heard it pertaining to the truth. All right. This is Leviticus 26 and 1. It says, ye shall make no idols nor graven images, neither rear you up a standing image, right? And that's a standing image because it has a symbology to it, comparing it to the Eiffel Tower. So the Eiffel Tower ultimately represents something, but it was there for the fair and it stayed there afterwards. So he wants to do something just as such, to ultimately emulate that. I believe that's in Paris, France. Showing you that this devil full of symbology, he's a demon, and it's just something else for the Lord, for you to ultimately, if you do keep it, for you to set up and for the Lord to destroy upon the face of the earth, or for the elect, all right, New Jerusalem, when they come down to destroy it, all right, when the elect get to cleaning up, if it ain't destroyed already, anything that stand will ultimately fall by thermonuclear missiles that's pertaining to America. But we might have to clean up the Eiffel Tower but that probably go too. All right, because there's various places upon the earth that's going to be hit with the besom of destruction. All right, is going to be pertaining to the land of the Chaldeans. This altar being this great city, Babylon the Great. England the Second. Right. So it says, neither rear you up a standing image, right? And that's what that is. Neither shall ye set up an image of stone in your land to bow down unto it, for I am the Lord your power, right? So that's what it is. It's a standing image. It's the book of 1 Kings, chapter 6. And this goes into the building of the temple, all right? Because Solomon was chose to build it. But I had read it in a different Bible version, and it was kind of breaking out the cubits. It was going into how it was 3 stories, which from my perspective, a building's not supposed to be erect, not supposed to be pointed to the sky, supposed to have flat surfaces. And I believe that's it within the law, and you can see that on how Solomon constructed the kingdom. All right, no tools, no. Not saying that he didn't have tools, but not a hammer, things like that, and the beams wasn't enclosed in the walls. So it's ways to do things to where even how Esau built his infrastructure here with concrete, and how he built buildings with trusses and beams inside of the walls, things of that nature is a way that you can do it outside of that, more righteous, probably more efficient, more sturdy, right? And you saw that within King Solomon and his dedication and how he was instructed and set up through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to build a kingdom. But I'm going to get a point here in it's 1 Kings 6:6. And I'll just read 2 verses. The nethermost chamber was 5 cubits broad, just showing you the widths of how big one room was, or one floor. And the middle was 6 cubits broad. And the third was 7 cubits broad. And you read different versions, Bible versions, it'll put the cubits in certain perspective, right? 7.5 feet, whatever the case may be. For without in the wall of the house he made narrowed rests round about, that the beams should not be fastened in the walls of the house. Right, it wasn't enclosed. Like the beams are a part of the wall structure, so to speak, like a column. It wasn't enclosed inside of the wall infrastructure to where you couldn't see it. All right. And the house, when it was in building, was built of stone made ready before it was brought thither, so that there was neither hammer nor axe nor any tool of iron heard in the house while it was in building, which is crazy. You know, and they still try to figure out today how the pyramids were created, which were built by Israelites. All right. And they still can't figure out that geometry. Right. But this devil, he wants to, he might allow this damn arena to stay on the lawn of the forest lawn of the White House in D.C. Ultimately, because he's wicked, is showing who they are. They're the Romans. They're the Greeks. They're the Edomites of the Bible. They're a part of the reason the Lord is coming back. All right. The second time, to put it in perspective, along with 2/3 of our people who believe in him, who believe in his way. All right, he's considering on leaving it there, like in Paris, the Eiffel Tower. So it's showing you some symbology, just like everything else over there in DC, like the thing that was gifted from Egypt, like we stated earlier in the lesson. It represents the tie, the phallus, or something like that. This is Babel, all right, all over again. This is Babylon, ancient Babylon, like Nimrod. This is Babylon with Nebuchadnezzar all over again. This is Sodom and Gomorrah. This is Egypt. This place has to be destroyed. Shalom, Habatah, and DTA. Until the next one.